Handicraft Lounge. The streets of Starlight Town in the north are filled with a lively and festive atmosphere. Overflowing with laughter, the streets and stalls are filled with infectious joy, drawing in wave after wave of tourists. Of course, you and Marius have yet to join them in the enthusiastic festivities. Because right now, you two are focused on making the quicksand picture frame in front of you.
이거 다 말랐을까요?
I think so. Can you pick it up and check?
네, 한번 해볼게요.
Marius carefully pulls out the newly sealed photo frame from under the UV light and gives it a gentle shake. The fine sand, perfectly mixed and soaked in clear oil, drifts and floats slowly, gradually creating wondrous colors as it flows within the transparent frame. After examining it carefully for a moment, Marius finally shows a satisfied smile.
드디어 완성했네. 봐요, 은하수 효과 어때요? 참고 영상이랑 똑같죠?
For practice, Marius chooses a simple starry sky as the background image this time. Yet, when the lavender nebula fleck with shimmering fine sand takes on a dynamic form in your hand, you can't help being captivated by its beauty. It's much more than that. I say it's almost a perfect replica.
그쵸. 내가 또 미적 감각만큼은 자신 있거든요. 다음 액자는 좀 더 어려운 걸로 도전해도 되겠어요.
실례합니다. 주문하신 음료 나왔습니다.
As you're talking, the female server from the handcraft workshop brings over the hot drinks you ordered, and she blinks in surprise upon seeing the mess on your table. Following her gaze, you realize that the table is piled high with materials for the quicksand frame, leaving almost no space.
죄송해요. 지금 바로 정리할게요.
괜찮아요. 요즘 모래액자 만들기 체험하러 오시는 분들이 많아서 이런 일이 자주 있거든요.
After you clear most of the table, the server comes over to wipe away the excess sand and oil from the table, giving you a playful wink.
저희 직원들은 다들 이게 또 무슨 새롭게 유행하는 거겠거니 싶었죠.
Hearing this, you and Marius look at each other and smile at the same time.
유행까진 아니고 최근에 이쪽에서 뜨는 이벤트는 맞는 것 같아요. 보니까.
The server is looking at you with interest, so you explain to her the whole story which happened during that weekend after the city sojourn. Home. On that weekend night, Marius returns from the school's art studio with a large cardboard box. At first, you thought that it might just be some of his newly purchased gadgets. You don't catch on until he explains the items within the box are actually part of a brilliant plan of his. Oh, are you saying that there's a way to reframe the leftover photos we picked out earlier?
맞아요.
After the city sojourn, you sorted through the photos you took during the trip with Marius. You printed out most of the group photos, put them in frames, and used them to decorate the home. As for some artistic shots of scenery, they were temporarily set aside since you couldn't find a suitable way to frame them.
저번부터 내가 찍은 가지들 사진이 액자에 넣어달라고 애원하는 눈빛을 보내서요. 안 넣어주면 구워 먹을 때 그 맛있는 가지들한테 미안하잖아요? 그래서 고민 끝에 드디어 그 사진들한테 딱 어울리는 걸 찾았어요. 바로 모래 액자예요.
As he speaks, Marius opens a video from his phone's favorites folder and sits down next to you so you can watch it together. The photo frames in the video are mostly themed around common landscapes, but they turned out looking super impressive in the end. Golden leaves flowing on the red wall background, rippling water on the cobblestone background. The static images now look lively, all thanks to the fine sand with various colors and textures. Wow, this quicksand frame can really make the photos look so dynamic. This is amazing.
신기하죠? 나도 우연히 봤는데 첫눈에 반해버렸어요.
After the video ends, not just Marius but even you can't help but feel excited about the effects of the quicksand frames. Come to think of it, if we could achieve that kind of visual effect, maybe those crayfish could be rescued with a bit of magic.
멋진 사람들은 통하는 게 있다더니 나도 같은 생각이에요. 그래서 이번에 바로 모래 액자 재료를 샀어요.
You've already bought all the materials? Didn't you just watch this video? You checked when the video was bookmarked. It was just the day before yesterday morning. It seems Marius made the purchase almost immediately after watching the video.
솔직히 나도 그 사진들이 아깝긴 했거든요. 여러 이유로 선택되지 못했지만 그것도 소중한 추억인데 이렇게 묻혀버리는 게 아쉬웠어요.
As his fingertips swipe across the screen, one by one, unselected and unframed photos appear before you. Not just the crayfish that Marius couldn't forget, but also the woods, streams, and the snow-capped mountains and grassland you visited even earlier. At first glance, they might seem like mere fragments of precious memories, but when you truly begin to reminisce, they come alive with their own unique vitality. You're right, it would be such a shame if these photos were truly abandoned. You hold onto Marius' arm and lean closer to look at the photos. Have you already bought all the materials then? I don't have to work overtime this weekend. How about we make some quicksand photo frames together and practice our skills?
좋아요. 이런 추억을 꾸미려면 무조건 둘이 같이 해야죠. 그나저나 재료 얘기가 나와서 말인데 사실 아직 다 준비하지는 못했어요. 지금 여러 색의 모래랑 투명한 기름만 수십 병 샀는데 어울리는 사진이 아직 많지 않더라고요. 그러다가 최근에 추천에 떠서 보니까 수공예 작가분들이 진짜 예쁜 한정판 모래 액자를 새로 낸 거 있죠? 근데 그건 온라인에서는 못 사고 오프라인 부스에서만 구할 수 있대요.
Offline booth?
네, 수공예 전시회나 티파티처럼 동호회 행사 같은 건데 보통 각자 부스를 신청하나 봐요. 이번에 아까 말한 수공예 작가분들이 똑같이 여는데 내 기억이 맞다면 오늘 블로그에 부스 위치가 공개될 거예요. 어디 보자. 성원마을 별빛 축제 행사장? 이게 어디예요?
The place is unfamiliar to you both. Marius looks back at you and you just shake your head, looking confused. I've never heard of it. Let me check the map. Huh? It's in a small town hundreds of kilometers to the north.
수백 킬로미터요?
The distance is so far that you both shout in surprise. Your earlier readiness fades just like how the air around you suddenly stills. After hearing your explanation, the female server, who has just finished cleaning the table, smiles and brings your drinks over.
그렇구나. 어쩐지 요즘 손님들이 자꾸 수공예 재료를 사러 간다더니 그거였네요. 두 분도 이번에 재료 사러 오신 거예요?
That's certainly part of the reason. Buying in person is totally normal, but for you, finding a proxy buyer is way more convenient. It's just that, although you had a great time in that city sojourn, you still hope to have a journey without any interruptions. Actually, we also wanted to take this opportunity to enjoy the Star Night Festival in your town.
이 마을은 경치도 좋고 축제도 활기차서 여행지로도 손색 없잖아요.
As if to confirm Mary's praise, another wave of chattering customers fled into the cafe. The server immediately gets up to attend to them, while you pull out the quicksand shopping list again, getting ready for the shopping rush. The list is largely in line with your initial plan, but a few designs that Marius added last minute stands out to you. Oh, didn't you see at home that these designs wouldn't mesh well with the background?
맞아요. 색감이 특이해서요. 근데 좀 전에 마침 어울리는 풍경을 하나 발견했어요.
As he speaks, Marius gestures toward the window with a nod. Following his gaze, you notice he is referring to a red mailbox on the street. You're right, they do seem to match.
그쵸? 대신 어디까지나 이건 우리가 구매에 성공한 다음의 일이에요.
Glancing at the time, Marius finishes the rest of his drink in one cup, then stands up and extends his hands to you.
가요. 거리에 점점 사람들이 많아지고 있어요.
As you leave the cafe with Marius, the festive buzz outside has finally hit its peak. It's freezing in this northern town, but the streets and the crowds are still super lively. The moment you walk into the street, several children helping to hang lanterns run past you with laughter, leaving behind this amazing sense of warmth and celebration.
누나, 빨리 와요.
Coming! You quickly step forward, linking your arm with Marius as you both step into the festival crowd. Perhaps it is at this very moment that your journey has just begun. Celebration Sub Venue. Since you arrived early enough, you managed to get your hands on the first batch of colored quicksand from the list without much trouble. While waiting for the second venue to be ready, Marius and you stay by the road at first venue, finding a seat to rest and chill for a while. Good thing we came early. If we waited any longer, we would have had to join that long queue too.
진짜 모래액자를 향한 우리의 진심에 하늘이 감동했나 봐요.
You can't help but laugh at his dramatic head shaking and sighing, so you set aside the bottles of fine sand you're counting and look down at him as he crouches busily by the chair. Earlier, since Marius mentioned wanting to test the effects of some fine sand on site, you brought along the complete set of equipment for making quicksand stands. But to your surprise, he even brought a mini photo card printer for making an impromptu photo frame. Right now, Marius is almost done making the mailbox photo frame he mentioned earlier. When you mentioned wanting to try matching with that mailbox photo earlier, I thought we'd have to start until we got back to the hotel. I didn't expect you to be so well prepared, even printing out the photos right here on the spot.
아무래도 여기서 바로 해보려면 우리가 갖고 있던 사진들만으로는 딱 맞는 걸 찾기 힘들 수도 있으니까요.
The busy work seems to come to an end as Marius places the quicksand frame under the UV light to dry. Though then, while blowing warm air into his palms, he looks at you with a gentle smile.
또 갑자기 영감이 떠올라서 누나한테 세상에 하나뿐인 액자를 만들어주고 싶어질 수도 있잖아요. 당장 만들고 싶어서 집 갈 때까지 못 기다려요.
Is this your artistic pursuit of inspiration?
아니에요. 좋은 건 다 누나한테 남겨두고 싶은 순수한 마음이라고요.
Alright, I get it. As the cold wind blows by, you take off your knitted gloves and hold Marius' reddened, cold hands in yours. To make it easier to operate, Marius doesn't wear warm gloves, but after working in the cold wind for so long, his fingers have become somewhat stiff. Still cold?
아니에요. 이제 따뜻해졌어요. 누나는요?
You shake your head and rub his frozen knuckles. Unexpectedly, Marius leans in closer.
안 추우면 누나한테 솔직하게 말할 게 있어요.
What is it?
사실 나도 예술가처럼 영감을 쫓고 싶은 마음이 조금 있어요.
Marius?
장난이에요.
You know that he's trying to tease you, but you can't help but laugh as you release his hands and playfully pat his shoulders. Just then, a stall owner who has just opened for business walks towards you with two steaming teacups in hand.
아이고, 역시 젊은 사람들이라 그런지 체력이 좋은데. 이렇게 추운 날씨에도 길가에서 장난치고 말이야. 눈길이 미끄러지지 않게 조심해. 자, 이리 들어와서 따뜻한 물 한 잔 마시고 추위 좀 녹여.
After being here for a few days, you've seen how welcoming the locals are. And with this cold weather, a simple cup of warm tea is like a timely help. Without refusing, you gratefully take the tea from the owner.
감사합니다. 괜히 번거롭게 해드린 것 같은데요.
괜찮아. 뜨거운 차 한 잔인데 뭘. 조금 있다 행사 시작하면 우리 간식 장사도 잘 부탁해. 아, 맞다. 그 불빛 안에 넣어둔 건 다 됐어? 아까 보니까 이 불이 꺼지던데.
아, 그렇네요. 깜빡할 뻔했어요.
After handing you the teacup, Marius hurriedly takes out the quicksand frame that has already been dried. As you two agreed before, Marius uses the photo of the mailbox as the background image. The red mailbox standing in the snowy landscape of this northern town is undoubtedly a beautiful sight to behold. However, while preparing the quicksand mixture, Marius deliberately mixes in some envelope-shaped glitters and changes the base color to golden red. And what you finally get is this heartwarming scene of letters flying around the mailbox, with the sunset and snow adding to the charm. At this moment, the letter does more than carry words. It holds longing, admiration, eagerness, and care, all melting into something warm, something real. It's so beautiful. Did you design this?
네, 원본도 괜찮았는데 조금 더 손을 봤어요. 편지 속 그리움은 끝이 없는데 해질 무렵이 되어서야 문 열고 나간다는 말이 있잖아요. 아직 해질 무렵은 아니지만 금빛과 편지, 거기에 이 빨간 우체통까지. 이 정도면 완벽한 조합이라고 할 수 있겠죠.
Indeed, I never thought before that photos like this could be transformed in such a way. He was just joking around before, saying that it was out of an artist's pursuit of inspiration. It's just his second try, and the work is already so refined. Undoubtedly, it's also thanks to his excellent artistic skills. Even the owner who brought you warm tea comes over for a peek and couldn't help but marvel at it.
대단하네 젊은이. 요즘 이런 수공예품 만드는 사람들 많이 봤는데 내가 본 것 중에 제일 예뻐. 일부러 이 우체통 고른 것 같은데 우리 편지 쓰는 이벤트도 한번 해볼래?
편지 이벤트요?
자, 이거야.
The owner points at the metal box containing a small stack of blank postcards in front of the mailbox, and then tilts his chin toward the mountain in the distance.
이 우체통의 엽서는 외부로 보낼 수 없고 저 성원상 정상으로만 보낼 수 있어.
왜요?
우리 축제는 행사장이 두 곳이야. 하나는 여기, 다른 하나는 저 산 중턱에 있어. 관광객들은 보통 마을에서 출발해서 두 행사장을 거쳐 가장 아름다운 별 하늘이라 불리는 산꼭대기까지 가는 코스로 축제를 즐기지. 그래서 예전부터 많은 사람들이 출발할 때 자신이나 연인한테 줄 엽서를 한 장씩 써왔어. 정상에 도착하면 풍경을 감상하면서 자신이나 상대방이 적어둔 속마음도 읽어보는 거야.
재밌겠는데요?
It's indeed worth giving it a shot. Then Marius takes two postcards and hands them to you along with an uncapped pen.
잘 생각해보니까 이렇게 진심을 시험하는 이벤트라면 우리 한 번도 놓친 적이 없었던 것 같네요.
That's exactly right. You've shared so many heartfelt messages with each other, no matter when or how. Hopes for the future, reminisce of the past, reflections on the present. It seems that you are always willing to open up to each other if you get the chance. Yet every time there's an event like this, you are still excited to join in. When you have expectations for this relationship, there are countless words you want to share with each other. Even the nearest peak of the mountain can be what you long for right now. As these thoughts come to you, words just start flooding out, and you quickly write them on the postcard. Marius, I want to fulfill all our expectations together, and with you, create even more expectations. I want to make every beautiful moment we encounter on this endless journey bloom like a garden of flowers together with you.
어때요, 누나? 다 썼어요?
Alright, you can mail it together with yours, and no peeking.
몰래 볼 리가 없죠. 이런 좋은 건 당연히 산에 올라가서 별 하늘이랑 같이 감상해야죠.
Marius smiles and waves the postcards in his hand before putting them into the mailbox. You talk a bit more with the owner and figure it's time to go, so you say goodbye to him and leave for the next place. After all, the event is still going on, and new expeditions are already on their way. Snow Mountain Trail. Just as the stall owner mentioned earlier, the festival's final destination is at the peak of Astral Mountain, with market stalls winding their way up. So on your way to the second venue, you happen to pass through a snow-covered mountain path.
작은 마을이지만 관광지를 꽤 잘 해놨네요.
Indeed. Besides the festival activities themselves, I'm surprised at how well they've preserved the natural scenery here. By the time you reach halfway up the mountain, your phones are already filled with quite a few scenic photos. While you're here partly to gather materials for making quicksand photo frames, it's mostly just to appreciate the beautiful scenery. After taking another photo of the snow-covered forest, you pause by a stream, reviewing the shots you'd taken along the way one by one. Although this place is not very large and there's hardly any spectacular scenery, for a shorter journey, it actually gives me a closer connection to nature.
이게 다 기획한 사람의 전략이죠. 예쁜 별 하늘은 어디든 비슷하니까 성운 마을이 뭔가 색다르게 만들긴 쉽지 않았을 거예요. 근데 지금 보니까 여기 산풍경이 가진 장점을 최대한으로 살린 것 같아요. 이렇게 하면 놀 것 찾는 관광객이나 풍경 보러 온 사람이든 기본적으로 다 만족할 수 있죠. 당연히 우리처럼 자료까지 챙기러 온 입장에선 손해볼 거 없이 완전 이득이고요.
I suppose this is also a way of staying true to our original aspiration.
당연히 그렇죠. 우리의 연구 정신은 칭찬받아 마땅하다고 생각해요.
As you chat lightheartedly, Marius hands over his phone as well. On your way up from the first venue, both of you are super impressed by the glacier and snow scenery, so each take quite a few photos. Marius shows you the photos he took, naturally wanting to screen suitable ones for making the new next quicksand frame.
방금 재고 확인해 봤는데 밝은 계열 모래가 많이 남아서 설경을 표현하면 좋을 것 같아요.
That's true, but after flipping through quite a few photos in succession, you can't help but feel somewhat unsatisfied. After thinking for a moment, you give the phone back to him and point at two really nice shots. Don't you think that in these photos, the snowy scenery combined with the light colored sand makes everything look like a vast expanse of white?
맞아요. 만약 전부 밝은색이면 화면의 중심이 없어서 밋밋해 보일 거예요.
Probably because there's so much snow on the mountain, the snow capes on the photos look like a vast white expanse. While the photos itself might be aesthetically pleasing, it would be difficult to distinguish between the foreground and background when making a quicksand photo frame. Marius looks through the photos, his expression really becoming troubled.
눈 풍경을 좀 더 입체감 있게 찍을 수 있으면 좋을 텐데 이대로면 사진이 좀 밋밋할 것 같아요. 화면의 중심을 잡아줄 만한 피사체가 있으면 좋을 것 같은데.
After a brief rest, you walk back toward the mountain path while thinking about the solution. The stream is gurgling along. Marius steps over the big rocks in the middle first before turning and reaching out his hands to you like he always does.
누나, 미끄러지지 않게 조심해요.
Okay, I'm coming over. Huh? As you hold Mary's hand while crossing the stream, your head is accidentally brushed by a low-hanging thick branch. When you look back, your hairband has fallen into the stream and quickly drifts several steps away with the water flow. My hairband!
잠깐만요.
Huh? Before you can react, Marius lets go of your hand and quickly steps into the shallow puddle to get closer. The freezing cold stream water sweeps over his ankles, but he's after that colorful hairband like he doesn't feel a thing. Come back, it's not worth it for a hairband. You can buy a new one. Be careful not to get frostbite on your feet.
괜찮아요. 이제 완벽해졌네요.
Finally reaching the hairband, Marius doesn't reach out to grab it, but instead takes out his phone and quickly takes a photo. He comes back all happy with the hairband and a new photo, and you are standing there completely blown away by what has just happened. What are you?
방금 우리가 논의했던 화면의 핵심이에요.
In the new photo, a bright-colored hairband flows along the stream toward the horizon, where it meets the golden rays of the setting sun. The white snow, which was the main color before, is now just a backdrop. Although you feel bad for Marius who just endured the bitter cold, you still marvel at the inspiration and artistic conception captured in this photo.
어때요? 설산에서 찍을 수 있는 최고의 그림 같지 않아요?
Of course it is, but for now, we need to get to the second venue and handle your clues. Just from his voice, you can tell he'd caught a chill from standing in cold water for so long. There should be plenty of hot drinks at the second venue. Once we get there, I'll buy you some to help warm you up.
네, 알겠어요.
The sun hasn't set yet, but when you look up at Marius, he is already bathed in sunlight, radiating like the surrounding snow. When exactly did he start shining so brightly in your eyes? You lower your head slightly, tucking your loose hair behind your ear with a smile. No matter what, you think that's the look you love most. Second venue.
아, 이치!
On a bench near the second venue, Marius is a bit gloomy as he blows his nose. You sit beside him and worriedly hand him some tissues. Are you feeling unwell? Do you think you might have caught a cold? It's obvious. How could he not catch a cold after stepping straight into a stream on this freezing weather? However, Marius seems determined to put up a brave front. He blinks slowly before speaking in a somewhat muffled tone.
괜찮아요. 아까는 좀 코가 막힌 것 같았는데 누나가 이렇게 따뜻한 밀크티를 사다 줘서 괜찮아진 것 같아요.
Yeah, right. If you were really fine, you'd have been acting all clingy with me by now. The more you try to hide it, the more obvious it is that something's seriously wrong.
어? 내가 평소에 그런 캐릭터였어요? 진짜?
What do you think? You let out a soft sigh, putting on a new blanket for him and tucking it snugly around his neck to keep out the cold. As the night falls, the street lights are lit up. As more people head up the mountain, the second venue becomes more lively. You two casually sit on a street bench, holding your steaming drinks while watching the crowd and the changing atmosphere. Seeing the long queues forming in front of several food stalls, you suddenly remember something. Alright, we haven't bought the new quicksand from the second venue yet.
깜빡할 뻔했어요.
Marius also comes to his senses and immediately tries to put away the blanket to go line up. But as soon as he is exposed to the cold wind, he starts sneezing. You're staying right here and not going anywhere. You hurriedly push him back onto the bench, wrap him tightly in the blanket once again, and then dust off your hands with satisfaction. Sorry, I'll go buy the quicksand.
혼자 줄 서는 거 외롭지 않겠어요? 진짜 말동무도 필요 없어요?
You're exaggerating. I'm just going to buy something.
심심할까봐 그러죠.
After the joking is over and Marius promises repeatedly not to wander off, you double check the shopping list before heading towards the stalls. You get held up a bit so the purchase isn't as smooth as it was at the first venue. Fortunately, after queuing for a while, you manage to get all the materials on the list. 20 different colors of sand and 5 bottles of oil. Good, that's everything. After putting all the counted materials back in your bag, you glance at the other items in your left hand and suddenly smile. Those are the hooded cloaks for warmth that you bought from the neighboring stall. In keeping with the theme, these cloaks are designed in styles that could make one look like small animals or fairies. You just wanted to buy 2 clothes for warmth because you would be going to the peak to enjoy the scenery at night. But after seeing the actual designs, some other thoughts suddenly pop into your mind. Teasing him a little is not a bad idea. You put on a fairy shaped hooded cloak and quickly walk back behind Marius. As expected, he is leaning back in the bench, dozing off with his eyes closed and his head slightly tilted. You pull the hood brim down a little and lean close to his ear to whisper. Fellow.
응?
Marius suddenly raises his head. His sleepy eyes meet your hood and he sounds slightly surprised.
직원이세요?
Honestly, you didn't think Marius' illness would make him hallucinate you as a fairy or something. Still, that's quite an unexpected answer. You lower your gaze and deliberately make your voice a bit deeper. Yes, I'm a staff member specifically assigned to distribute gifts to visitors at the venue.
선물이요? 무슨 선물인데요? 사탕 같은 건가요?
If you want a candy, that's possible too, but you'll have to answer 50 questions. If your answer satisfies us, you'll receive a candy as a reward.
보상을 받으려면 50개 문제를 연달아 답해야 한다고요? 너무 많지 않아요?
In the brief silence, with the hood on, you can't see his expression or get a sense of what he's thinking. But in the next moment, this question is suddenly resolved.
그게 지금은 몸이 안 좋아서 50개나 되는 질문에 대답하긴 힘들 것 같아요.
Then, huh? He suddenly pulls the hood off your forehead. Before the market lights can reach your eyes, his face is already right there. He then gives you a gentle kiss on the cheek.
보상을 아까처럼 바꾸고 질문도 5개 이하로 줄일 수는 없나요?
Well, your heart skips a beat, and after a brief pause, you look at Marius' gentle expression. I'm getting the short end of the stick here, and
뭐가요?
before you can finish, he reaches out to smooth the strands of hair that have been masked by the hood, gently tucking them behind your ear. Why is it that, even though it's something so common, your heart still speeds up a little when you look into his loving eyes in the warm light? I mean, you weren't fooled by me from the start, were you?
당연하죠. 우리가 얼마나 잘 통하는데. 그 정도 연기쯤이야 눈치 못 챌 리가 없죠. 사실은 누나의 미니게임 덕분에 중요한 순간에 완전히 정신이 들었어요.
Just in time.
저기 봐요.
He points behind you, and as you turn around, you see clusters of warm, bright lights floating in the falling dust. The bustling market street is filled with a uniquely cheerful atmosphere. The lanterns at the night market have finally been hung up.
네, 드디어 밤이 됐네요.
After a brief rest, Marius finally recovers a little. He takes off the blanket, sits up straight, and stretches.
시간도 됐으니까 여기 사진 찍고 산꼭대기로 가볼까요?
Sure. As you get closer to the end, you don't feel any regrets or hesitation. Maybe it's because of everything you've gained along the way, or maybe it's because of what awaits at the end. But at least, as the lights begin to glow, it means the night has only just begun and the real excitement is yet to come. Peak of Astral Mountain. Oh, the observatory isn't open yet.
죄송합니다. 어젯밤에 갑자기 폭설이 내려서 제설 작업이 끝나려면 30분 정도 더 걸릴 것 같아요.
The staff keeps apologizing. Marius and you have no choice but to regretfully leave the entrance area.
어쩐지 나도 아까부터 왜 산에 눈이 이렇게 많은가 했어요. 홍보 영상을 봤을 때는 이쪽 설경이 이렇게까지 장관이 아니었거든요.
Well, sudden weather changes are quite common after all. Thankfully, the observatory confirms they can finish snow clearing within half an hour, otherwise your trip would have been completely wasted. But before you can even finish feeling relief, a new problem pops up. Now, where should we go to pass the time?
그러게요. 강가를 따라 걷기만 해도 괜찮겠지만 바람이 점점 세지고 있어서 밤에는 기온이 더 떨어질 것 같아요.
If you can't find a warm place to stay, at least having somewhere to move around and keep warm would be nice. Marius looks around and finds that aside from the observatory at a higher elevation, there isn't even a windbreak shelter in sight. But surprisingly, you hear laughter from the other side of the peak. What's that activity over there?
모르겠어요. 여행 가이드에 기록이 없네요. 가서 볼게요. 스케이트장?
Following the direction of the laughter, you see a newly built ice rink. As if to preserve the integrity of the surrounding environment, this ice rink is built to resemble a natural frozen lake, blending seamlessly with the snowy landscape. At the same time, you see many tourists skating on the ice.
그래서 우리가 미처 못 봤나 봐요. 이 스케이트장 구조가 특이한데요? 마지막 일정 전에 이걸 발견할 줄은 몰랐는데 이것도 일정의 인연일까요?
Seeing Marius bend down with interest to pat his leg, you immediately understand what he means. Should we go rent 2 pairs of ice skates now?
역시 누나는 날 너무 잘한다니까요. 누나한테는 뭘 숨길 수가 없어요.
Not at all. Your thoughts are practically written all over your face. You gently nudge Marius' chest, then quickly grab his hand as you walk together towards the ice rink.
이렇게 타도 괜찮아요?
I think I got it. Whoa! As you are speaking, you nearly fall headfirst because the size of the ice skates doesn't fit well. Thankfully, Marius quickly skates in front of you and catches you in his arms.
이렇게 보니까 좀 위험한데 우리 그냥 돌아갈래요? 여기서 넘어지기라도 하면 큰일 나요.
That's true, but since we're already here and it's not that big of a problem. Leaning against Mary's arm, you tap your ice skates, feeling somewhat reluctant to leave. When you arrived at the ice rink earlier, Marius quickly found a pair of rental skates that fit him. However, due to limited availability of women's skates, you could only rent a pair that was slightly big, which was quite slippery if you weren't careful. If I skate carefully, it should be fine, though there's not much room for error.
어쩔 수 없네요.
Seeing that you are a bit down yet reluctant to leave immediately, Marius lets out a soft sigh that he takes you into his arms, pulling you into his embrace. Marius?
아직 얼음 위에서 보이는 풍경도 하나도 못 봤는데 이렇게 가기엔 좀 아쉽죠. 이렇게 내가 끌어줄 테니까 우리 몇 바퀴 돌면서 스케이트 체험이나 해요.
Wait, I'm not used to this Eh? Before you can stand, Marius tightly wraps his arms around your waist. Although the start is a bit unsteady, after just 2 steps, he helps you find your balance. As the speed gradually increases, the cold wind brushing past your ear becomes faster and faster. However, whenever you show the slightest sign of losing balance, the warm chest behind you will immediately steady your movements. At the same time, the mountain night view, which you've never seen before, unfolds like a fast spreading scroll, inviting you to feast your eyes on it. Marius?
왜요?
Oh, nothing. Just felt like calling out to you. As he said before, your mutual understanding truly needs no further testing. Even with just a gentle whisper of his name, he can guess your thoughts and feelings at that moment and pull you even closer into his embrace.
여기 풍경 어때요?
It's beautiful, but it's a shame I can't record the scenery as background image when viewing it in this form.
아, 누나. 이런 때까지도 소재 생각하고 있어요?
I just thought you were an artist seeking inspiration again. But when it comes to the view, what I see here is a truly one of a kind beautiful view. Because you two are clinging together, and there's a warmth that even the cold wind can't dispel. You only return to the edge of the ice ring when the staff announces that the observatory's cleaning is complete.
이제 드디어 다들 기다리던 장소가 준비됐네요.
After returning the rented ice skates, you head back to Marius, and he gently pats off the ice flakes from your clothes. You haven't yet gazed upon the stars, but the stars have already drawn near to you.
됐어요. 가요.
Yeah. Observatory. Whether it's a Starlit Sounds promotional video or all the townspeople you've met along the way, everyone is very impressed by the starry night scenery on Astral Mountain. The moment you stand at the observatory and see the night sky, you finally understand the true magnificence of the scenery that everyone is so proud of. This night sky truly lives up to its title of Most Beautiful Starry Night.
맞아요. 오늘 여행 코스까지 생각해보면 꽤 로맨틱한 분위기가 있어요.
Marius rests his elbows on his knees, cupping his chin as you both gaze at the distant scenery together. The starry sky is boundless, while the distant mountains stretch endlessly. Except for the shadows cast by pine forests, everything inside the snow, streams, and icy surfaces reflects the dazzling starlight. But because of those shadows, the starlight appears even more dazzling and brilliant. Speaking of this most beautiful starry night, though, suddenly remembering something, you turn to look at Marius. Didn't the stall owner say earlier that our postcards would be delivered to the peak? But on our way up here just now, we didn't see any delivery vehicles or couriers.
당연하죠. 직원들은 전용 통로로 다녀야 하니까요.
Marius gestures for you to look at the delivery cable car hanging behind the observatory while slowly pulling two perfectly intact postcards from his pocket. Huh, when did you get them back?
스케이트 반납하러 갈 때 케이블카가 움직이는 게 보여서 그냥 슬쩍 가서 물어봤죠. 어쨌든 이 엽서가 여기 관광지에선 일종의 상징이잖아요. 그러니까 그걸 옮기는 일이 제일 중요한 거죠.
You've been hiding it from me all this time. You smile and nudge Marius' shoulder, and he leans towards you in response.
좋은 건 마지막에 내놓는 법이잖아요.
With that said, you take the postcard he wrote from his hand and begin to read it carefully under the starlight. You both wrote in a rush, so you didn't really get to share your deepest thoughts. But even those few simple words are still enough to make your eyes widen. This is...
내 소원이라고 할까요?
I want to see the most beautiful starry sky with Shiraira. No, not only that. I want to see the aurora, the snowy landscapes, the mountains and forests with Shiraira again. I want to see all of life's beautiful scenery together with Shiraira. 4 lines of text with elegant and strong handwriting, yet as you read them, you immediately picture the playful smile on Marius' lips as he was writing.
사실 처음에 자료 사진을 고를 때 가장 먼저 떠올린 건 오로라가 펼쳐진 야경이었어요. 게다가 우리가 찍었던 사진의 퀄리티가 첫 번째 모래 액자를 만드는데 딱이었거든요.
Then why did you choose other photos, teacher? He rubs his interlaced fingers together, his gaze softly falling on his fingertips.
모래 액자로 보여줄 수 있는 빛과 그림자, 설레는 순간이 너무 많잖아요. 오로라뿐만 아니라 절벽, 계곡, 정글, 바다, 그리고 더 많은 것들이 있어요. 첫 번째 모래 액자가 담고 있는 의미도 좋지만 좀 더 익숙해진 다음에 더 완벽하게 만들고 싶었어요.
Marius opens his phone and once again browses through the photo album you had already reviewed and sorted through multiple times. Apart from that aurora back then, there are the valleys, waterfalls, cliffs, and countless other views you saw together that you still remember like yesterday. Those moments, simply because they are a bit ordinary, almost get lost in the sense of time. Yet, to recapture these memories, each one holds the value of being made into the first quicksand frame. Indeed, I didn't expect every memory to shine so brightly when the ordinary becomes extraordinary. If only we had discovered this technique sooner. That way, we could have found ways to breathe new life into these memories much earlier.
지금도 늦지 않았어요. 돌아가면 하나씩 꺼내서 다시 만들어봐요. 근데 있잖아요.
After letting out a long breath, Marius straightens up and smiles, gently pinching the postcard you wrote between his fingers.
이제 이 엽서가 가장 아름다운 별 하늘과 얼마나 잘 어울리는지 확인해 볼까요?
Of course, I've been waiting for so long. You didn't write much, but as he reads it, he mirrors your earlier smile.
역시 예상대로네요.
So, what do you think about the results? Are you satisfied?
만족 못할 리가 있겠어요? 계속 기대했던 거였는걸요.
Under the starry sky, warmth embraces you and him. Just like the quicksand in those pictures framed in the backpack, it doesn't matter if it's a nebula or fine snow, or if it's the warmth or the connection between you. Everything flows endlessly like a gentle stream. Yet it shines brilliantly like the starry sky in that final frame.